This video covers the use of the Oracle Receivables Reconciliation Demonstration Spreadsheet that comes with the Noetics Views Trial Edition for Subledger Accounting. See the video Using the Demonstration Spreadsheets for a general introduction, including enabling macros and data connections and saving and sharing the reports. I've already opened the spreadsheet and enabled macros and data connections. Let's get started by reviewing the purpose of this spreadsheet. As it says in the overview section, this report displays the SLA and GL accounting results for all the receivables transactions for a ledger, period, and account values. This information can be used during the receivables reconciliation process. In general, the intent of the subledger reconciliation process is to make sure the source transactions have been properly accounted. This spreadsheet allows you to find mismatches between receivables, SLA, and GL. It organizes the receivables transactions by accounting event type, those being standard and miscellaneous receipts, transactions, including invoices and credit memos, adjustments, and bills receivable. It then pulls the SLA journals for those receivables transactions, and then the GL journals for the SLA journals, all for a common ledger, period, and set of account values. The data in this spreadsheet comes from the views AR transaction dist, AR standard receipt dist, AR miscellaneous receipt dist, AR adjustment dist, AR bills receivable dist, SLA hub journal lines, and GL journal lines. See the SLA catalog for information about each of these views. Now let's go to the Prompts tab and run the report. First, let's log in. Next, we make our parameter selections. This report requires values for a ledger, year. In this case, year is only used to narrow down the list of values in the next prompt, that is the list of periods. So I'm going to use that year and that period. And an entry for balancing segment. I'm going to use that balancing segment as well. And also, let's use the percent symbol to represent all the values for the cost center and natural account segments. Now let's run the report. Note in the message area below the parameters, the current tab being refreshed is displayed. Once all the tabs are finished refreshing, you are automatically taken to the Transactions tab. But let's first go back to the Prompts tab and take a quick look at the Summary table. This table summarizes the amounts for each of the receivables distribution views and computes a total distribution amount. It also includes a total for the SLA journals and GL journals. If, like we see here, the totals don't match, you'll use the data on the other tabs to find the source of the mismatch. Let's now look at each of the tabs in this spreadsheet. The Transactions tab displays receivables transactions such as invoices and credit memos. The data comes from the AR Transactions dist view. It has customer information, transaction class information and type, the accounting class, as well as the SLA and GL posting information, the distribution account and the distribution amount, and the accounted debit and credit amounts in both the transaction and primary currencies. The Standard Receipts tab displays standard receipts, including the receipt and transaction numbers, the receipt method, and receipt class and status. The data comes from the AR standard receipt distribution view. It also has customer information, the distribution account, the distribution amount, and the accounted debit and credit amounts in both transaction and primary currencies. The Miscellaneous Receipts tab, as the name suggests, returns miscellaneous receipts. The data comes from the AR Miss Receipt dist view. It also has the distribution account, the distribution amount, and the accounted debit and credit amounts in both the transaction and primary currencies. As you can see in my sample data, no data was returned for these parameter values. The Adjustments tab will, to nobody's surprise, return data about adjustment transactions, including the adjustment reason and activity type. The data comes from the AR Adjustment dist view. It also has the customer information, the distribution amount, the distribution account, and the accounted debit and credit amounts in both the transaction and primary currencies. The final Receivables Transaction tab displays bills receivable transactions, including drawee information and the distribution account and amount, and the accounted debit and credit amounts in both the transaction and primary currencies. The data comes from the AR Bills Received Dist view. The Subledger Accounting Journals Summary tab displays the summarized SLA debit and credit amounts grouped by journal category, accounting event class, and accounting event entity and type. It includes the accounted amounts in the subledger accounting and the amounts transferred to GL. As you can see here, this is what's accounted and is in SLA. And here's the amounts that are actually transferred to the general ledger. The data on this tab comes from the SLA Hub Journal Lines view. This tab provides a fast, convenient way to view a summarization of your accounting data in a way not possible in the GL because only the SLA journals have the accounting event class and type information. As we can see here, right here, there's a discrepancy between the amounts in SLA and the amounts transferred to the GL in the, let's look over here, in the receipts category. I can start my analysis with the data on the Standard Receipts tab to learn why this may have happened. The Subledger Accounting Journals tab displays the detailed journal lines that were created by running the accounting on the receivables transactions on the previous tabs. The data on this tab also comes from the SLA Hub Journal Lines view. To find SLA journals that have been accounted but not posted to the GL, see the GL transfer status column. A yes indicates that the journal has been posted and a no means it hasn't. So you can see we have accounted journals that haven't been posted. And if I look at these as well, I can see they're also in the receipts category. So again, I've got the information I can work with to begin understanding the discrepancy between what was accounted and what was transferred or posted to the GL. The next tab is the GL or Journal Ledger Journals Summary tab. It displays the accounted debit and credit amounts by journal category and that are in the GL. The data on this tab comes from the XLA GL Journal Lines view. And then finally, the General Ledger Journals tab displays the GL journals created during the posting process from the SLA journals on the previous tab, as well as those journals that were entered manually. The data on this tab comes from the view GL Journal Lines. Now let's go all the way back to the Prompts tab. Back in the Prompts tab, we can see that the summarized totals for the debits and the credits don't match. You can use the data in this spreadsheet to help you analyze the transactions and their accounting representations to understand the mismatch. This concludes the overview of the AR reconciliation report. Here is a list of other instructional videos that you may find helpful for the setup and use of the Trial Edition software.